What is popping, y'all? We are back with the DeAndre Way. I am your host, of course, DeAndre, and we are here today to go through the Traitors Season 2, Episode 7. I've been gone for a little bit, y'all. I'm late. I know I was in Vegas this past week, as you can see with the merch, and then I was in Phoenix as well. It was busy week, y'all. I mean, if you haven't, check out the Vegas pod or vlog, and we got the waste management vlog popping up soon as well. Kept me pretty busy out there. If you can't tell, I'm a little stuffed up right now as well. So it was a long week. Like I had a lot of things coming in and going out, and it was wild. I can't even explain. It was like a movie. And I tried to encapsulate it the best I could with the vlog, but you can't record everything. But yes, I am back. We here to go over episode 7, and then we will catch episode 8 tomorrow and then get caught up all the way. So yes, also make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the DeAndre where we popping up new things as well. Just dropped a couple of videos with some Squid Game people behind the scenes. See what they get up to now. Spencer's one of them, and I can't remember the other one. The other one is Dash, I believe. But yeah, check those out too, y'all. And yeah, we gonna hop right into it, man. Episode 7. This honestly was the first episode that kind of the show went a little like this for me, just because nobody went home. When nobody goes home in an episode, it's just lackluster altogether. No matter what show it is, it just like nothing really transpired. Now somebody will go home at the end of the episode, but I don't like how they pretty much gave the traders a free pass on this episode, and the faithful just had to like lose automatically. I don't think that was fair. I think once once they realized that Parvati was most likely going home, in my opinion, they were like, "All right, we got to do something here. We got to change some screws in this door, and make it go a different way." So I definitely think they screwed the faithfuls over on this one. But that's just the nature of the game. They're gonna do what they want to do. I definitely believe that, say, say Deonta doesn't go home, and say that Dan doesn't go home. I don't believe that they do this twist. They're just trying to, they see that there's only going to be, and then say that Peter accepts the offer too. I don't think that they do this little twist and they're forcing, the safety chain going on, and they're forcing basically Faithful to go home regardless. And also the traders that are getting like scared and feeling some type of way, like Faye just feeling getting all emotional. I don't know if it's an act. I don't know if she's projecting, doing whatever, faking it. Who knows? But she was getting emotional for no reason because there's no way she's going home, even if she wasn't picked. So maybe she's putting on an act. Maybe she's doing that. I don't know. But we'll get into it, y'all. So we begin the episode with Parvati and Phaedra finding out that Peter declined their offer. Eh, Not surprising. I predicted he wouldn't accept it, but it was funny to see their faces. So he pretty much knows it's Parvati at this point because like Peter's a smart dude. We can see that at this point. He's rounding all the horses up together and taking charge and getting ready to take down his opponent. But he said, "Nah, I'll catch you on the flip side." So he said he wants to be part of winning this game the right way. Depends on what side you on. He says he can't look at his people in the eyes at this point and lie to them. If I said that correctly, I get you, Peter. It's hard not to go on to be a traitor. I think that noble of him. I don't know if it was the best move for him to win because he was always going to be a target at this point. And so if he doesn't get safety from here on out, he's pretty much gone. So, and then that's not really going to give away who the traitor is unless they just automatically get Parvati out. And then it's kind of like up in the air at that point. But I think he's a sitting duck and just waiting to get sniped. Soon Phaedra told Parvati that it's going to be her last meal. She said she's going to make it through here, through the ashes. But Parvati said she's going to make it through here and through the ashes, but Phaedra doesn't think she will. So soon it's time for breakfast, and Bergie and Phaedra are the first ones in at breakfast. And if I have to read this whole thing, hold on one sec. Okay, we're good. I thought my mic wasn't on. Look, I've been trying to get things together. Now I had to check the mic real quick. But yes, Bergie and Phaedra are the first ones in at breakfast. Phaedra told Bergie that his crew looks like a gang, and he's like, "Yeah, we are kind of a gang." I don't know if this is not a good look, Bergie. I mean, you should have said, "Yeah, we're cool, but we're not like that tight." To separate yourself and protect yourself. I mean, he outed himself right here, even though, but he said it with his own mouth, even though it was obvious. So, but he got to be loyal to his group. You got to be loyal to his group. And soon, Phaedra, the next one to walk in is MJ, Sheree, and Kate. And then it's funny because when everyone walks in and anyone says anything, Phaedra makes these like faces, like this eyebrow raises. I can't do them, but I don't know if that maybe that's just her. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it because we know that she's a traitor, so it's not fair to us to assume that just she doesn't do that all the time. But it just looks a little suspect, like she's trying to be too oblivious. That's just me. CT walks in next with Parvati. Then Sandra walks in. Then Peter walks in next with John, and then Peter whispers to John that he's going to talk to him later because he no Peter got recruited, and Parvati and Phaedra are trying to get on their best, Jesse Mueller, you know, acting face on. If you don't know who Jesse Mueller is, check her out. She's tight with it. But yeah, they're trying to disguise themselves to make it seem like, oh, like they're not, they weren't the ones, especially Parvati, to get, vote Peter, recruit Peter. And Peter's watching Parvati like a hawk right now. He's not laying eyes off of her, and he definitely probably gave her a look like when he walked in the door. And I don't know if she could conceal that or not, but I'm definitely sure that he did some slick stuff like that. Uh, I don't Parvati at this point. Look, she got to go balls to the wall. She has honestly nothing to lose at this point. I mean, except her game, but she's a target. She knows that, so she has to come up with a brilliant plan to show why she was a survivor winner and take down this bachelor. Because I mean, look, if I was Parvati and I was in this predicament right here, I would literally just sit down with Peter one on one and just talk to him. Try and use, I don't know if Peter's single or not. Try and use your appeal a little bit, like warm him over a little bit. And just kind of just put him at ease because he's on edge right now. And be like, Peter, there's no way. You know, use that. Who's that woman appeal now? I'm sure Peter will fall to the wayside if you just put it on a little bit, girl. But, excuse me one second. Jesus, y'all. It's been hard out here for me lately. I'm getting better. I promise. I ain't got COVID. Um, but yes, then soon we see Trishelle and Kevin walk in last. So everyone notices that nobody's gone. And Peter doesn't say anything about him being recruited. So everyone's kind of like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And then obviously, everyone knows that, since Dan was eliminated last episode, people realized that there must have been. So the thing is, people are assuming that there was a uh, recruitment per se. And I don't know if it's fair to assume that the whole time because just because Trishelle, Parvati knows that there was recruitment, obviously, because she was the one who did it, but everyone else doesn't know that. So with her saying that out loud, it's like, well, how do you know there was a recruitment? What do you mean? I guess it's obvious because nobody went home, so they're just using 1+1. But I don't know. I don't know if she's the one who should have been like saying, so who was recruited? It's kind of giving you away a little bit there, but I guess she's just trying anything at this point, like I said. So yes, I don't blame Peter for not saying nothing. I mean, he doesn't have to. Keep the information to yourself. Nobody else needs to know this, and that might put a target on your back. Even though there's already one, I don't think you can win people over, but he should just keep this to himself. But yes, he doesn't say anything, and you know, why do I keep saying Trishelle when I mean Parvati? Parvati asks, Peter, "Are you the new traitor?" Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, "Girl, what are you doing?" She's like, "Somebody's lying in here." She's doing all she can at this point, but I don't know if she's doing it the right way. She should just rally the troops against one person, which she does eventually. She does do that against Peter, so she definitely has a crew together. And unfortunately for Peter's crew, they don't have the majority votes at this point. They should have added a couple extra people to their little clique and not close the door on people. I think that was stupid. Because why would you isolate people in a game like this? Then you're just going to get you out, regardless if you're a traitor or a faithful, because they don't like you. Easier said. I mean, they get more money anyways. So yeah, I wasn't. I don't think that's the smartest game plan for them. But yes, soon Parvati and Peter are openly going at each other at this point, and they're having a little banter back and forth at the breakfast table. Some fun seems like, but people also know it's serious underneath the sheets. And soon Phaedra is walking around. And since she walked, breakfast is over, and Phaedra's walking around the house, and she sees the group of five, which is Peter, Bergie, John, Kevin, and Trishelle, having a conversation. She tries to go in there, and they're like, "Can you leave again?" And that's what I'm like, y'all. Okay, this whole leaving thing, meeting thing, gotta stop, because you're basically saying we think everyone else in here is a traitor except us five, and that means nobody gonna like y'all, and you don't have the numbers. So I don't get the benefit of excluding people from your little 5-man group, your 5-man blue man group. You got to add some extra members to the team. I mean, you have a squad of 5. That's not a full Pokemon roster. You can get up to 6 total. If you got 6, it'd be 6 to 6. There's 12 people left. Like, just get one more person, and y'all pretty much good. That's it. So it baffles me. Baffles me. But the thing is, they got the trader right last time in Dan, and so they got their head on a high horse, and or they're on their high horse, and they just think they're on top of the world, Brandy style, and can't get over it. So it ain't looking good. I think one of them 5 is for sure gone next episode for sure, 100%. But we'll get to that. And soon, Trishelle is thinking that Phaedra is a traitor because Dan called her out at the last roundtable meeting. She's paying close attention. Trishelle's got them notes together, and if that word gets out that she is spreading this information, she's on the chopping block too. So, but that's real keen thinking of her because she knows Dan ain't no slouch and whatnot, and she probably thinks like if he's gonna go down, he's not going down alone. He's gonna drag him down with him. So, yeah, one more second. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get better, but I wanted to get this out before tomorrow because the new episode comes out. I should be all the way better by this weekend. This cough shouldn't be lasting too much longer. But yes, you got some extra remedies. Text them to me or send them. Put them in the comments below. Soon, Sandra tries to walk into the room as well of 5 people, and they ask her to leave, but she's like, "I'm not leaving. I need to know what's going on. Y'all ain't about to talk about me." She's like, she's standing her ground because she's over this little secret meeting room. I'm over it too. It's kind of played out and silly at this point, and these people are thinking they're running everything, and they need to just realize, you can't exclude people like that in these kind of games. I mean, in any kind, because like it's like you're sitting at the lunchroom, you sit down at the table, and they're like, "You can't sit with us," and you're like, "Okay." So then they're isolating themselves, and then the whole lunchroom is isolated, and it's everybody against you. I mean, it feels like middle school, to be honest. What they're doing, not the best look. And Sandra is now thinking Peter is a traitor because he's acting real sus and causing problems. It's facts. I knew this was gonna happen. So Sandra comes up with this plan saying that the other group cannot get the advantage over the rest of the house because that would just be bad for everyone. And she thinks that they're trying to take over the game regardless of who is a traitor or not. So the other group of 7 get together, everyone outside the 5 I named. So everyone outside of Peter, Bergie, John, Kevin, and Trishelle, which would be, if I can remember, everyone on top of my head would be Sandra, MJ, CT, Sheree, uh, Parvati, Phaedra, and John. No, not John. Who's the one I'm missing? Kate. Kate. Those 7. Yeah, so they are getting together and whatnot and teaming up. So Their mission is to all vote against Pedra. Sandra does get these little billiard balls and places them on the table and be like, "This is this five and this is us seven, and we need to get one of these out because they're gonna clip one of it and they're gonna have even numbers." And it's like it's pretty funny to watch because it's like you know, this is the way she's explaining it. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh." Like she's like some genius, but maybe she's the only one who really sees what's going on and taking note of it. But she gets the team together and rallies the troops, and they got the plan together regardless of what happens in this mission. So this next mission begins. When we get settled for it, and they told they're gonna have to go in the forest for this one. And Alan tells the group that they're going to have to get in pairs. And so the pairs are CT and Phaedra, Parvati and John, MJ and Kate, Kevin and Sandra, Peter and Trishelle, and Bergie and Sheree. And there are different, so basically what this mission is there's different money bag amounts. They must get these bags of cash like $500, $1,000, 10,000, seven, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. I think the highest is 7,000. And the groups, each pair must grab a bag and take it past these four checkpoints. And it's either like a go left or go right sign, and it's a true or false thing. You know, like is it this one or is it this one? And they have to pick the right one. If they don't, they're gonna get set into a trap, and they're gonna lose one of their pairs. If they lose both their pairs, they're out. Sorry. If they lose both their pairs, they're out. And so that's pretty much the mission. If they make it across, they gain the money for the team. If they don't get the money. So I think it's $20,000. He said 20,000 to $25,000 total. And there are also two shields in play. So whoever finishes the fastest and completes the whole thing, of course, they win the shields. Jesus, I'm sorry, y'all. Goodness gracious. It's hard out here. Somebody help me. But yes, that's the mission essentially. Pretty simple and understanding. So they take off. It's funny seeing people take off in this running. I mean, it's time, so that's why they're doing it. And yeah, they're doing it in pairs, but they don't all go at the same time. It's like one group goes and everyone else is waiting, and then another group goes, but they make it look like they're all going at the same time, unless they set them all up. No, there's no way. There's no way. Yes, they get to the first question. The first question is they have to decide which. So Alan gives them a little talking to or riddle. I think not riddle. He just explains everything before, but he says what the name of this guy's name in his little debriefing during the mission. And he said Doorman McDarrich. And there's like the other one is McDorman. McDorman? McDarrich Doorman. Darrich McDorman, I think. One of those two. Anyways, it was Doorman McDarrich. And everyone pretty much guessing at this point because they don't remember what he was saying. They weren't paying attention. And so Peter and Trishelle, they picked the wrong one. Peter falls into the trap. He needed the shield. He knows this, so he's out the game. But it's a bunch of he falls into a bunch of mud. I was like, dang, dog, not the mud. Ugh. I hope he wasn't wearing his good hair products that day because he's not looking too pretty. So Peter's out, and Trishelle thinks it's kind of funny to see the Bachelor stuck in the mud. So CT and Phaedra pick the right one, McDorman. They picked the right one. I forget which name is right. And MJ and Kate picked the right one as well. Everyone else picks the right one. So except Bergie and Sheree. So Bergie and Sheree picked the wrong one. Bergie goes in there and he gets out in the mud. I'm glad it was him, not Sheree, because she might have been walked off the set like, look, y'all, I can't do this. Y'all should have told me it was gonna be the money here so I can take the hair out at least. But she was not victim to that. So the next obstacle or test or scenario, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call these things. Station. We'll call them a station. The next station is to pick the shape of the symbol in the middle of the table. Unless these are little things that like I'm surprised more people didn't pick up on because Big Brother people especially you have to memorize everything in a house. There wasn't any Big Brother people left though, now that I think about it. Because Dan is gone and so is Trishelle. Or no, so is Janelle. So they probably would have picked up on this one now that I think about it. Yeah, because Survivor and the Challenge, they don't need to pick up on these things, and these other shows aren't competition shows. They definitely don't need to pick up on it. So if it was a Big Brother person here, they definitely would have picked it up, but there weren't any left. So pretty much everyone uh, thinks it's a sun or a moon picture, and most people pick the sun. So CT and Phaedra pick the sun. They're wrong. CT gets out on that one. He gets caught in this net trap where it like scoops him up in the air and he's stuck in a bunch of leaves. It looks a little claustrophobic, but it looks kind of fun at the same time. I wouldn't mind that trap other than over the mud. Sheree gets the wrong one too. So does MJ. Parvati and John get the right one, and Kevin and Sandra get the right one. Phaedra is having anxiety because she has to do the rest of this mission alone. She lost her boo CT. She's naked and afraid out in the jungle, and she's just dazed and confused as well at this point. And she just doesn't know what the hell is going on. And yeah, she gets that one wrong, and no, she gets that one right. She gets that one right. The next clue is which phrase is in the kitchen? Keeps your friends close or keep your enemies closer, and it's in Latin. I guess the obvious one is to keep your enemies close, and that seems like the right answer. If I had to guess, I would guess that one too. Not gonna lie, because you feel dumb if you got pick your friends, keep your friends closer. Then you get it wrong. You'd feel stupid. So I understand why most teams picked the enemies, which was Trishelle. She got out. Kate, she got out. Phaedra, she got out. Parvati and John get that one right, and Kevin and Sandra get that one right too. I would have picked the wrong one. I know I would have if I didn't look and I didn't know what it was because it seems obvious. That's what these shows try and trick you. They make you overthink. I don't blame nobody for getting that wrong though. They try and make them look silly by getting these wrong, but and you put yourself in those shoes, I could easily pick the wrong one. Um, but yes, the Seven and Sandra get that one too, and so did Parvati and John. And the last one is which portrait on the wall is correct? And they're two different portraits of the order of everyone's faces. Like I'll say again, Big Brother people would have had this down because in the Big Brother house, they have portraits of everyone's face on the wall the entire time. You're going to memorize these things. I mean, they didn't get to work as a big group on this. If they did, then they definitely would have needed Janelle and Dan because they would have 100% killed this. This is all little Big Brother games, it seemed like. This is a tough one, too. But the thing is, you see this all the time as well. There's not much to do in the house. You don't have your phones. You don't have this. You don't have that. But both groups end up getting this one right. So they was taking their notes. They was taking their time, and they got it right. I wish we got to see how long it took each group. I really want to know, but we just don't get that transparency. Yeah, I just wish there was some way on this timed one per se that we just got full transparency on who really got it done quickest. I don't think they're gonna like cheat for sure. Like it just doesn't seem like that because both either group it didn't matter who got saved, whether it was Kevin and Sandra or Parvati and John. I guess Parvati she needed it, but the thing is, it didn't matter if Parvati got safe or not because there was no round table. So maybe if Parvati and John won it, there would have been a round table because Parvati's safe now, so it doesn't really matter. And then Phaedra's not going to get voted out unless Trishelle brings the bandwagon against her, which maybe she started the rally. Who knows? But I can't see her getting out in that. So yeah, I think if it was Parvati, then she won, then I think there might have been a round table. That's just me though. That's just me, conspiracy theorist up in the building. But yes, uh, Kevin and Sandra and Parvati and John complete the mission, and Kevin and Sandra get through fast enough, and they win the shield. Excuse me. They win the shield. So Peter's pissed off. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't win the shield." But Parvati didn't either, so I'm kicking my feet up, and we gonna get this girl up out of here because I called her out last time, and she gonna be the next one on the chopping block. Peter's no nervous though, because he's sticking his head out. You stick your neck out in this game, It's gonna be the one that's sliced up like the barber on Demon Fleet Street, Sweeney Todd style. And he's the next one to get his hair cut. So it's looking peak for this man, especially this is round tape. They didn't have the numbers either. So that's another thing too. So Peter's a mainstay at this point. He's a main character. Not to say they can't get to the main. I mean, everyone's a main character, but Peter's definitely controlling the game. He's controlling it. And just when they got out a person, a traitor, then they're gonna get rid of another person that's controlling the game. That's two big major people that's getting involved with everything back to back. It's tough. They also didn't want to get too rid of two of the main white guys of the show back to back. That's tough on them as well. So it's like, yeah, we gave you Dan, we can't give you Peter now. So Peter got saved by the bell. Like I said, I think they just threw this thing in there because they wanted somebody to get out that wasn't a traitor because Peter declined the offer, and that would have looked real sketch if Peter declined the offer. Then he gets out the next episode, the same episode. That'd have been a tough look. That'd have been like, dang, like, what are you doing? So they saved him. They saved Peter in this episode for sure. I definitely think there was some maybe some subtle things going on in the background, but look, that's neither here say they say. I don't know. That's just what I'm assuming. But anyways, um, yes, CT soon. He grabs Peter and brings him to this back room and tells Peter that you're on the block. You on the chopping block, my friend. You might not get a rose tonight. See, Peter's like, huh? Me? Who? What? Peter's shook right now. He's like, I didn't even know. You had no inclination, Peter. Come on now, bro. I know you're in the Bachelor, but you gotta know what's up. You was in the Bachelorette, so you have an idea if the girl don't like you. Now you should have an idea if these women don't like you. Come on now, Peter. You gotta be able to smooth your way. Use your show to your advantage and swoon these women. I know you're not everyone's type, but hey, that's your area of expertise, player. But yes, he didn't know what the hell was going on. He was lost in the sauce. Sorry, I know that's a lot. Um, but yes, Peter soon asked CT like, "Well, can you tell me like who said that and who's coming out to me?" And CT's like, "Play, I wasn't even supposed to tell you this much information, so you got to figure out the rest on your own." CT telling him this. CT's the master of playing both sides. He does this on the challenge every single season. He plays both sides, is nice to everyone, but he really only cares about himself. So he's trying to keep Peter and his group at an arm's length. Like, here, I threw you a small bone, so don't throw my name out there. In the other group, he's like, well, I'm not about to grab that bone and throw it away. I want to keep y'all. So, CT's doing what he does best, work both sides. That's what he always does because that's just how he plays. I'm not shocked that he did this. I think it's funny that he didn't tell them the whole information. So if I was Peter, I would use that information against CT, but CT's a big, intimidating dude. You're going to turn against him, you better have the cojones to really stand up to him. I know you ain't going to get in no hall brawl or anything like that with him, but at the same time, it's like, look, you go against CT, there's going to be problems, coach. So he has to just appreciate what he did for him in this instance and just run with it. So that's the predicament he's in at this point. So CT, well played on his part. He knows what kind of power and he can and the aura he can bring out in this. But yes, soon Peter brings Parvati and Phaedra into the armory alone to talk with them, by himself. And it's interesting to see the could have been traitor trio. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, Drewski style. And Phaedra does not like this look. She's like, I ain't never been next to Parvati alone like this, and now we're in the same room against the person who's sussing out Parvati. What is going on in here, y'all? Looks like we having a traitor meeting in here. And Phaedra's just like, no, no. She's not having it, coach. She just needs to get out the room and onto her own business. I don't blame her for this. It's a sus look, but if she freaks out too much, she's gonna give herself away. So she needs to like just take it easy because a lot of small groups have been meeting together. Don't be too thrown off that your small group is meeting because Peter's in this other group of five. So people aren't really going to suspect you guys away and talking. I mean, I'm sure people get in the little twos, threes, fours groups all the time. So with her doing this, it is kind of subtly giving her away. And if Peter's not taking note of this and how she's just being so deflecting and so just like, that's a red flag right there. But the thing is, he's worried right now that he's the one being sussed out, so he might not be paying too close attention to these things. But yeah, she's definitely kind of showing her hand a little bit right here, for sure. But yes, he gets brings them in there and says he wants to work with them too. Interesting. And Phaedra, like I said, she's getting sussed out, and she just pretty much is getting ready. She just leaves really quickly. I don't even know why she went in there in the first place if she didn't want to be seen with Parvati and Phaedra, unless Parvati was in there already and she just walked in and didn't realize that she was going to be there. But I'm pretty sure they walked in together. But she can't say no. I mean, look, I don't know. Phaedra, I was confused. If you didn't want to be in there, then why'd you even put yourself in that predicament in the first place? You knew what y'all was going to be talking about. What else would you be talking about? Tea, craft beer, housewives? Like, what are you talking about? It just didn't make sense, but it is what it is. And soon Alan pops up and says, everyone, we're going on a deadly outing. And he says there will be no round table tonight. And there will be no banishment. So when he said this, I was like, really? We letting the traitors off the hook that easy? Y'all really trying to save Parvati that bad? They really trying to save her that bad? To where they're giving her free handouts at this point. Like they Oprah. Boy, I tell you. Parvati, I don't know what she did to these production people, but she definitely swindled them some type of way. Because Dan wasn't able to get this free treatment, you know? Why wasn't Dan able to get this pass? That makes it's not 1 plus 1 ain't equaling two here. So I don't get it. It doesn't seem fair. I mean, it's not fair in the least bit. You're automatically gonna lose a faithful. Automatically. In this situation that we're about to explain. It's just like these parts of these games really just need to be checked and getting rid of because it just takes away everything. I mean, how does it feel if whoever the faithful is to get out on this portion of the game when they had no fighting chance, zero? I hate that. It's because it's kind of similar to how I got out on Squid Game, if I'm being honest. Like you give little chance unless you just want to self-sacrifice yourself. You know, I mean, it was a little different. I ain't gonna lie. It was a little different in my situation. But anyways, this ain't about me. It just sucks for them. It sucks even worse because whoever gets out they couldn't do anything except rely on their friends. When that's kind of the game of the round table, anyways, to an extent. But this is really just like a toss up, and you have more of a chance to percentage of a chance to go home, anyways. 20% chance, not knowing that there's a traitor in one of the 5 2, so it's even like a 35% chance. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But or 25% chance. I'm tripping. I can't do math right now. But yes, soon, yes, the players have the power to change the course of the game, he says. So the traders will murder one and everyone and decide who will be traders will murder one and everyone will decide who will be spared. At the end of the night, 5 players will be at the mercy of the traders and one of them will be murdered. And so basically what this is since Kevin and Sandra won the mission, they're automatically safe. There will be 5 more people saved. So 7 people in total will be saved tonight, and only 5 people will be at risk. And how they will decide it is Kevin and Sandra will get this little torch, and they will together decide whose else torch they will light, Survivor style. It's like kind of like Survivor, because in Survivor he dims or takes the torch out, and in this they're lighting the torches to keep them alive. Reverse ish going on. So we got a little Big Brother inclusion on this episode. We got a little Survivor inclusion on this episode. I'm ready for the Hall Brawl, coach. So I'm ready. Um, but yes. Uh, and then it's a safety chain. So whoever they pick, that person picks who's saved. Whoever that person that's picked, they pick the next person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Safety chain. I don't like safety chains. Do away with them. They're dumb to me because they're just really screwing. Whoever gets out on this is just completely screwed over. It's just the same thing as the Squid Game thing, except only one person's getting out instead of 11. But yes, that's how the game works, or this test. So soon, Kevin and Sam, yes, they won, and yes, they're picking who is going to be eliminated. Well, who's at the risk of elimination. And so everyone starts giving the little pitches. They're like, if anyone wants to say anything, say it now. Putting yourself out there again, it's not the best look. But that's just what time they own. And so Sandra is essentially going to be. Kevin says he hands it over to Sandra, and so you decide to pick. It's your call. Honorable to him to do that. You know, he's safe and he's looking out for himself. So everyone should know that. Look, Kevin didn't want to make a decision. He might be a traitor. Jesus, this is bad. It's just when I talk a lot. That's when it comes out. That's just what settings we on. But we pushing through with y'all. We fighting for life out here, Deontay Wilder style, y'all. I'm fighting right now. We fighting. Um, but yes, Sandra decides to save Sheree. MJ is pissed. I'm shocked she didn't pick MJ because that's her girl. Size of Sunset. I mean, they weren't on the same show. Sandra was on Survivor. MJ was on Shaws of Sunset. So I don't know. But they seem to be close, and I would be pissed too. It's your bet number one in the game, and you pick Sheree. I want to know the reason why she picked Sheree, because that would seem to be out of left field. I mean, I might be tight, but Sheree's from Real Housewives, and you're from Survivor, and you hanging out with the other girl of this. I mean, the girl of same descent. You left her out to dry. It ain't a good look, Sandra. It ain't a good look. Hey, that's just me. I don't know. That's just me. But yes, it's Sheree's turn. Of course, she picks Phaedra. Now, she picks Phaedra because I'm not shocked. Same show, Real Housewives. They've been together the whole show. Phaedra starts crying. Huh? Is this an act? Does she not know the rules of the game or the test? Why are you crying? Why are you crying? I don't get it. If she doesn't get picked, she's still safe. She's a traitor. So this, I hope she was putting on an act. And she said, I just was, nobody, people overlook me and don't pick me all the time and this, that, and the third. I get that part. I get the part of feeling left out and whatnot. And she says her emotion about a full circle of life and bringing her here to this moment. I don't get it. You're safe. And why are you trying to play this like this victim right now? Or this Princess Peach that needs saving and you're crying. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not trying to come at her right now. I'm just confused. If it's an act, that's the only logical explanation on my end. Like she has to be acting, but why would you act this hard? Maybe it is good for her game that she did this. I'm trying like maybe it is, but it can be like a little like people can look at her. When I was there and Sheree got picked, she should be chilling. Everyone's like, oh, of course. Everyone knows she's gonna pick Phaedra. And then she starts crying like she's just that nervous. Maybe because Sandra didn't pick MJ, and so she's questioning Sheree. But then why would you question your best friend? I don't. It's red flags, y'all. If I'm Trishelle, I'm getting more spooked by this. Trishelle, I hope you clocking this right now. I hope she's clocking it. But yes, soon it's Phaedra's turn, and Phaedra saves CT. So then Parvati wants to get mad because she didn't pick her. And I'm like, is everyone's brain just going out the window at this point? Parvati, why are you mad? You're safe regardless. Who cares who she picks? Phaedra probably picked CT because she didn't want him being at the risk of him going home because she already had to self-sacrifice one of her earlier allies in the other housewife who went home. What's her name? The blonde hair girl. The other housewife who went home. She had to sacrifice one of her allies already, so she doesn't want to have to be at the risk of sacrificing another one. So she's just saving her homie. You're safe already. So why are you getting upset? She's doing you a favor too, because if she picks you, it looks like you guys are working together. After you just had this secret meeting, which I'm sure somebody picked up on, or Peter can run around and say, "Hey, I met with these two, and if Phaedra saves Parvati, then they're definitely working together, and Phaedra's probably definitely a traitor because we suspect Parvati to be one, because nobody's supposed to trust Parvati at this point. Parvati, come on, use your brain. What are you doing? Like, why are you getting upset? This makes no sense. I'm baffled by Parvati and Phaedra for both of their behaviors during this whole event. It just makes no sense. Like, did they not get to explain the rules correctly to them? They're safe. Makes no sense. But yes, she took CT, and now it's CT's turn. CT picks John to save. Now Trishelle is pissed. Now Trishelle has right to be pissed because she's not a traitor. Okay, like she's not a traitor. CT is the only one from her show there. I don't know why CT picked John because he works for the freaking government. And you trust this dude? You know he's not a traitor at this point, so I get it. CT might think Trishelle is a traitor. He could think that. That's fair. That's completely fair. It's called the Traitors. So maybe Trishelle needs to think. CT didn't want to say, "Hey, Trishelle, you could be a traitor, so I couldn't pick you." He can't say that. That's the point I get from him. So, but she's probably not thinking that because she knows that she's not a traitor. So that's not even in like her realm of thought, which I completely understand. I would say the same thing if I were her. Like, we're from the same show. I'm not a traitor. Well, of course you would say you're not a traitor. CT's thinking this right now. I know he's thinking that. I don't blame him for that. You know, I don't blame him. He's thinking, of course, somebody from the challenge has to be a traitor in his head. It wasn't John. It wasn't John. Johnny Bananas. It's not me. It's got to be Trishelle. CT's probably thinking Big Brother Survivor the challenge. Boom, boom, boom. A Big Brother person was already found out to be a traitor. It's probably a Survivor person in Parvati. Probably a challenge person in Trishelle. I would think that too. So I don't even blame CT for doing that. He couldn't tell her that he thinks she's a traitor. I know. I have a feeling that's what he's thinking. But yes, so now it looks like it's time for the last person to be saved, and it's John's turn to decide. So Peter gives his little pitch. He's a target. Trishelle gives her a pitch. Nothing too crazy. She says she's faithful. So John decides to save dun, da, 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 Peter. Duh, because it's his a little five group left. But the five group is John himself, he's saved. Kevin, already saved. Trishelle in danger. Peter in danger. And Bergie in danger. So John picks Peter over Bergie and Trishelle. That should tell them what time it's on, what time it is with John, because they're not his number one. Bergie's left out to dry. Trishelle's left out to dry. But then again, John and Peter seem to have a closer relationship because earlier in the episode, they had a little one on one. It seemed like they were talking to each other more. They have a closer bond. It seems fair on John's end because like we pick the person you're closest with and the leader of your little five group. Peter's the leader. You don't want to leave him out to dry because if you take the leader out, you're all going to be scattered. He's the one who probably brought you all together in the first place. So, yeah, that's basically what time it was. I'm not shocked. He picked him at all. And so Sandra said she was looking at Peter's anxiety and whatnot, and she thinks that the way he behaved, he's 100% a faithful. Because his heart was palpitating, he was hyperventilating, he was turning red, like it was getting real deep for him. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms is heavy. And yes, after that's finished, Trishelle is hurt and humiliated that CT did not pick her. So now, between Bergie, Trishelle, Kate, and MJ and Parvati, they're the five that could be sent home. Of course, not Parvati because she's a traitor. So Bergie, Trishelle, Kate, and MJ are the only four. So when they get back in the house, Trishelle voices her frustration to CT. She's like, "I couldn't believe you did that. You embarrassed me, looking like a fool." MJ says she needs some red wine because she is hot and feeling like a raging bull right now, and she is seeing red, and she needs to drink some of that red to cool it down. MJ knows she was nobody's first choice, and it is a tough pill to swallow, and she's gonna need a lot of water for that pill. But hey, that's the game. That's the game. Can't trust nobody, not even your old girl. Stuff. And soon, yes, Trichelle's pretty much pissed off, and she gets CT to talk to her, and she's just like, she feels like their friendship is more than it was, turning over a new leaf. And this game is about more. This is about friendship too. And CT's like, look, it's more than about friendship. It's a game. At the end of the day, don't take it personal. It's just a game we're playing. Like I just did what I thought was best for my game. I mean, look, it's a game, Trishelle. She's getting a little her emotions right now. I get it. You have to. It is emotional because you're building this bond with people, regardless if you're a trader or not. You still expect them to pick you. But if you're playing this game, you can't hold anyone. You can't hold it too tight against anyone because you could always be a traitor. The traitors are lying to your faces every day. You just have to put yourself in the traitor's shoes too, like somebody else thinking you're the traitor's shoes. You know, I don't blame CT for anyone for picking anyone at this. I just think it's silly that the traders are getting upset and acting weird during this. But everyone else, if you're not picked, you're not picked because you might be suspected of being a traitor. I don't think that's too hard to comprehend. Now, in the motions of the game, and you're a faithful, you're not thinking like that. So those antennas aren't turned on. But that's what time CT's on. CT's the big gamer in the show, so he knows what's going on, and that's probably what he's thinking. He says it's nothing personal. She's upset. She ain't trying to hear it. She feels like CT devalued her. And he's like, it's not about friends. She's like, well, it kind of is for me. And that's just what time they end on. She's like, I'm going home basically now. So thanks a lot. CT's like, dang, she's putting up a good act. Maybe she isn't faithful. So it's time for everybody to go to bed and leave. You see Bergie with his little teddy bear, and the traders soon meet in the turrets, and Phaedra and Parvati. And Phaedra pretty much tells Parvati, look, you need to stop acting like an ice princess. You giving all these people these weird vibes and weird energy, and it ain't coming across as cute. So you need to fix it now. Start being more lovable, nice to people, and open your heart a little bit. You just giving either people these death stares. You lucky we got this little twist, or your ass would have been up out of here, girl. I wanted to see the raw uncut of the version of it, but we got the PG-13 version. Because she's right. Parvati's not giving this lovable energy. She needs to give it out. She's a good, attractive looking woman. She needs to use her pivoting prowess and her illustrious, woman skills to soothe the people over. Cook them breakfast, get them some tea. I don't know. Rub, massage the back. I don't, girl, just be nice. Smile. I don't know what she's doing to them in there per se, because I don't see it that from that deep of an aspect, because we don't get to see everything. But she's doing something to make herself just seem cold to people. And you don't know these people, so you gotta warm up to them. I mean, girl, you played a show with a bunch of strangers on Survivor. You gotta know how these things work. I mean, she played it twice, I think. So I hope she's listening to Phaedra and takes some advice. But she seems like she's listening. She seems like she's taking everything in. She's not being defensive, and she's gonna work with that. So they're discussing what they're gonna do. Phaedra, calls Peter Click the Peter Pals, and it looks like they're thinking of either taking out Trishelle, MJ, or Bergie. Trishelle and Bergie because they're part of the Peter Pals, and MJ because she's a strong force in the game. And she's kind of like been under the radar. So she's like sliding her way through. And, Parvati's stressing out. Her anxiety's through the roof because she feels like she's all alone now because Phaedra didn't pick her, which was stupid to think that she wouldn't be with her. She's a traitor with you. How can she be against you? How would she take her fellow traitor out? That's not going to help her at all. Because that she has no shield. You don't want to be the only traitor at this stage in the game because there's so many faithfuls left. You have no shield to fall back on. Say things do hit the fan, you can always fall back and there's another traitor to hopefully get out instead of you. But if there's no other traitor to get out instead of you, you're just literally throwing shit at the wind and hopefully something hits. So Parvati just needs to relax, relax, relax. If I were them, you have Trishelle, MJ, Bergie, and who's the other person? Kate. So Kate's out the question. Kate would be a pointless kill. She's not with anyone really. It would just be a random kill. Wouldn't really get much done. You got to take out one of the Peter Pals, I think. MJ, that doesn't do anything to me either. It's just like, it just wouldn't do anything. You got to take the click out because MJ is working with you two at this point. They're working with you two to get that five out. So you shouldn't take MJ out. She's not part of the Peter Pals. You got to take out Trishelle or Bergie. Unless Phaedra knows that Trishelle is talking about her, I think you got to take out Bergie because Bergie's kind of on the top. I think he's one of the guys, and the guys are ruling this little five group yeah, out of Kevin, Peter, Bergie, and John. There are four guys with one girl in there. You got to take out the guy. I think Bergie, he's the one. And you slowly chop that down because that weakens them more. You take out the one girl in there, it's still a boys' club, and they're still pretty strong. I mean, no offense to Trishelle, but the guys seem to be running that group, which they are. So you take out the one weakest link of the group. What is that doing for you guys? You got to chop it off. You got to chop that meat off, that thick meat. And it's Bergie seems like the one to be do it to, even though Phaedra doesn't loves Bergie. Phaedra loves Bergie, and that's her Burgerlicious. That's the smartest move for her game because people see that they're close. Why would she eliminate someone she's really close with? I'm just saying that's the smartest move, but that's where the episode ends. We'll see what happens. It looked like they're gonna eliminate Trishelle, but that would not be the smartest move. It wouldn't be smart because then I think Parvati's next. Because Parvati's next. Because like, oh, they eliminated a girl instead of a guy. They eliminate the guy. I don't know. Just for them too. Like, if they eliminate Trishelle, it's still cutting out one of the group and one of the five. But it just doesn't that doesn't send strong enough message. I don't know. I think they're fine either way with Trishelle or Bergie, but I just think Bergie. But hey, that's the end of the episode. Episode 8 is tomorrow. We're gonna recap that one quickly. Hopefully get it out Friday. Yes, Friday. And then we back on track, y'all. We got the ending of the Alexander the Great coming up as well soon. We wrap that one up tomorrow. And yeah, we got a whole bunch of content we putting out from this past week, y'all. It was lit, like I said. Make sure to check it out. Some good stuff. And yeah, I appreciate y'all hanging with me and hanging tight and bearing with me on, my little slight cough going on. I'm pushing through it just for y'all because y'all my peoples. Y'all holding it down for me every single week, every single night. We putting it out. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for so much for joining me at the DeAndre Way. Once again, make sure to subscribe. We keep it on moving up top, just past 1,500. So I thank y'all so much for that. We up out of here. Peace and blessings. And I hope you have a good rest of